Welcome to one of the most beautiful chess games ever witnessed. Garry Kasparov, with the white pieces, faces off against Topalov in 1999. Kasparov opens with e4. Topalov responds with d6. Welcome to the Perk defense. Kasparov continues d4, seizing total control of the center. Topalov plays knight f6, attacking the e4 pawn. Knight c3 defends the pawn. Topalov plays g6. That bishop's path is blocked, so it's fianchettoed on this diagonal. Bishop e3 comes next, followed by Topalov's bishop g7. The game rolls on with queen d2. The bishop and queen support bishop h6 while preparing for a long castle. Topalov plays c6, setting up for d5 or b5, gearing up to attack the king after a long castle. f3 stops knight g4. Topalov pushes b5. Knight ge2 keeps the castling options open, long or short, still undecided. Topalov plays knight bd7. Neither side has committed the king yet, short or long. Kasparov plays bishop h6 and says, let's trade bishops. If you want to castle, I'll exchange, and we'll have removed the strongest defender of the dark squares. Topalov captures it, recaptures with the queen, and officially, no short castling. Bishop b7, keep developing, a3. Topalov keeps hitting the center with e5, and Kasparov decides long castling. Queen e7, and now my king is ready for long castling too. King b1, a prophylactic move that also frees up c1 for the knight. a6, and Kasparov starts developing his knight with knight c1. Long castling, knight b3. Topalov decides to play e takes d4. Kasparov takes with the rook, c5, kick the rook. Rook d1, knight b6, and now d5 is supported by 4 pieces. g3, king b8. I'm not in a hurry for d5. Kasparov plays knight a5. Give me that bishop. The bishop pulls back to a8. Bishop h3, activation for the bishop. Topalov strikes the center with d5. Since the pawn pushed and opened this diagonal, queen f4 with check, king a7, and he develops his last piece. Rook h1. Topalov takes space in the center with d4, kicking the knight. Kasparov starts the sacrifices with knight d5 and sacrifices a pawn. Knight, takes with the pawn with tempo. Give me your queen. Queen d6. Come on, let's trade queens. And the d5 pawn officially falls. Here, Kasparov plays a brilliant move. Rook takes on d4. What if you ignored it and took your queen? I'll take with the rook, and thanks for the extra pawn. Well, I'll take the d5 pawn with the knight. I'll take the f7 pawn with check, and white's better. So here, after rook takes d4, Topalov accepts the sacrifice and says, show me what you've got. I've got a full rook extra, and you've got nothing. Kasparov says, take another brilliant move. Rook e7 with check. Okay, if you take it, your queen isn't covering b6 anymore. So, queen takes d4 with check. Your only move is to go back with the king to b8. My queen comes to b6 with check. You've got 2 options. First, you cover with the bishop. I'll play knight c6 with check. And when you move the king inside, you get checkmate. Okay, I'll cover with the queen. Knight c6. Checkmate. But Topalov sees through all these moves with a piercing eye and plays the engine's best move, king g6, hitting the knight while still eyeing the rook on e7. Kasparov fires back with the best and brilliant, queen takes on d4. Want to cover with the queen? I'll capture the knight with check. Take my knight, you face b4. Topalov grabs the knight on a5, now up 2 pieces. Then b4 with check, king a4, followed by queen c3, aiming for mate in 1. Take the rook, checkmate. Topalov eats the d5 pawn to block the mate, but Kasparov plays rook a7, demanding mate in 1. You can't defend with the queen, you'd leave b3 exposed. Nor with the rook, you'd meet king b2, undefendable mate. Whatever you play, queen b3 check, f takes b3, checkmate. Topalov responds with the best move, bishop b7, guarding the mate and freeing a8 for the rook. Kasparov takes the bishop if you recapture with the queen, queen a3 hash, mate. Topalov says, let's trade queens, but you've left the knight exposed. Queen takes f6, calling for checkmate on a6. How do you defend this? King takes a 3, queen takes a 6 check, king takes b4. With all due respect to your fierce attack, my king is perfectly safe, and you're attacking with just 2 pieces. Beware, you might be the one facing checkmate. Kasparov continues with the engine's best, c3. Now you've got 4 options. Take the pawn with the king, the queen, play king c5, or king b3. Take with the queen, you expose b5. Play king c5, rook c7 with check, and you're toast. Play king b3, queen a2. With check, only move king c3, queen b2 with check. Only move king d3, bishop f8, and you lose the queen. Topalov counters with the best. King takes c3. The game rolls on with queen a1 check, king d2, queen b2 with check. Head to the e-file. The rook joins and crushes you, but he plays the best. King d1. No checks now. After king d1, Kasparov says, "Don't you miss a brilliant move." Bishop f1, demanding the queen. If the queen takes the bishop, it leaves c2. Queen c2 with check. Rook joins with check. Cover with the queen. Checkmate. Topalov unleashes a legendary move. Rook d2. Your queen's targeted, my queen's targeted, and that rook's free, but you can't take it, or it's checkmate. Kasparov replies, "If that's a legendary move, here's a headache-inducing one. Rook d7. What an insane chess game. Let's count the demands. 1. I claim the queen. 2. I claim checkmate. Topalov takes the rook. Kasparov takes the queen. Take back the bishop. And thanks for the rook on 8. Topalov presses on. Rook d3, eyeing the f3 pawn. Queen a8, defends it. Plays c3, targeting c2 with check, then promotes. Now queen f4 plus, with check, no c2, king a1, f4, f5, king c1, rook d2. Now queen a7, will gobble up the pawns, and you can't promote. Push the pawn, queen a3. With check, you lose the rook. Play rook a7, queen g8, checkmate. What if you take the pawn? Check on g1, you lose the rook. After queen a7, Topalov resigns in one of the most beautiful chess games ever. If you loved this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.